Sunday Meal Prep Live. I've actually finished my prepping. I will show you exactly what I'm eating this week and what I've done. But one of the things that this does for me, and it kind of alleviates the biggest objection I hear you say, which is you're always in your macro tracking app and it just feels overwhelming and too much to track everything. You really need to be tracking in advance. Tracking, when you track what you're eating as you go, it brings awareness, which is amazing, okay? So you can start there and it brings awareness and you can try and play with it a little bit, which is fine. But majority of the time, if you actually want to use it for sculpting your body, whether it's increasing muscle, decreasing body fat, improving your hormones, relieving some of those perimenopause symptoms, you want to make sure that you're getting nourishment, you're getting enough calories, you're fueling yourself well. The idea of tracking macros is to plan in advance. And one of the reasons why you would do this would be looking at nutritional regulation. So are the actual meals themselves balanced, and do they have enough protein and carbs and fat in each of your meals? Because that will actually affect your energy levels. So if they're balanced throughout the day, you can have afternoon crashes. Do you have enough calories supporting you around your activity? I see a lot of people backload their calories, so they're really heavy in the evenings when they're sitting down in front of the TV and scrolling. That's probably not, and then getting ready to go to bed. That's not what you want to be doing when you get up in the morning, especially people who train in the morning. That's where your calories should go. Or you can get energy crashes. You can not have enough nutrients for recovery, so then you feel really sore and you can't train as well. One moment, my sweet potato. Yeah, so you're not getting the recovery, you're not getting enough protein afterwards, so therefore your muscles don't have what it needs to create muscle synthesis. So there's a lot of things like this that go on. So planning in advance not only means you reach your goals, but it also means that you aren't in your app constantly, because once you've planned out what you're having, all you have to do is open up to have a look at quantities. And really, if you're getting quite repetitive with your foods, then you actually don't have to get into the app much at all. You just, by a day or two, you go, right, yep, I know what I'm having. So having foods on repeat works. Planning in advance and doing some meal prep. And I don't care whether you're tracking macros or not, meal prep creates time for any busy, high-level woman that is, trying to do career, still might have some older kids at home, spending time with the husband, trying to make it to the gym. Like, you're trying to do all of these things. Do some fucking meal prep. Get yourself ahead of the game. So Monday to Friday, we don't cook. Oh, sorry, Friday we do Fish Friday, but Monday to Thursday, we don't cook. And because I don't cook, I don't have dishes to do. Everything's prepped in the fridge. And then I can just open the fridge, pull out what I need, serve it, put it back in the fridge, and put my bowl in the dishwasher and wipe the bench. I'm done. And that creates my training time. I like to train in the afternoon when I've been eating all day. That just suits me. So, having that prep done means that Dean and I don't have to worry about cooking dinner. Though there are a lot of time-saving things you can do if you want to have a different dinner every night. If you put your breakfast and your lunch and your snacks on repeat, then you don't have to think about any of that, and then it's just cooking dinner. So maybe you're a morning training person and cooking dinner at night is fine. Or maybe you still have some kids at home and eating the same thing every night doesn't work for you. But you can actually still prep for those things and have some time saving ahead. So that is one of my biggest tips with macro tracking. Don't do it just to go, oh, that's what I ate, and check a box, because you're forever going to be in your app. If you're feeling overwhelmed, learn how to, one, track in advance, and two, use that tracking in advance to your best advantage to build the best body that you can. And that includes losing fat, building muscle, energy regulation, ensuring you've got the nutrition and the regulation in your body for calming down those perimenopause symptoms, doing those basics you know, and learning that skill ahead of time means that once you've got that knowledge, you don't have to track forever. Anyway, one of the things for when you prepping is, how do I know how much, like say my partner eats more or my husband eats more and I want to track my macros. How do I do that? Dean isn't tracking his macros at the moment, but he kind of knows what he eats, and being male, he's going to eat some more protein, he's going to eat some more carbs than me. So our quantities are a bit different. Now, let me show you. Stir fry. You would think that that would be hard to be able to do with people with different quantities and still meet macros, because, you know, maybe they want the same carbs but they want more protein. So how do you manage that? This is what I've done to put together, and not only does it keep your meals really simple with protein, carbs and fats, and you can see exactly what is there, it's as tasty as fuck. You know, just choosing single ingredient meals, like a single ingredient carb, like a rice or a noodle or some potato, and choosing a protein like chicken or steak or you know, beef, whatever it is, doesn't mean it has to be boring as fuck. Like, who wants to eat a piece of grilled chicken on brown rice and broccoli every fucking night? No way. No one wants to do that. It doesn't taste good. So this way we keep it tasty as well, and it's super, super simple, and I get to track my macros as well. So I went down like an Asian theme, and I kind of threw off some flavors to Dean and went, what one sounds good? And there was a chili garlic sauce that I have, and he went, that sounds really good. So we'd already picked our protein. We said we wanted a chicken meal. I said, great, and I can throw some veggies and some noodles, and he wanted thick noodles. So we were able to kind of go, okay, that's what we want to eat this week. We chose our protein, we chose our flavor profile, we chose our type of carb, and away we went. So what I have done is, I got chicken thigh, and I trim off most of the fat, sliced it up, and, trying to show, where's my hand? There it is, sorry. This is my chicken thigh, sliced up. I just put some garlic salt on for a little bit of flavour just on the chicken, and just stir fried in batches, put it in here, and now I know that my protein is ready to go. I did a quick little recipe in Cronometer of veggies, so I just weighed these out raw, created a recipe, cooked them down, weighed this, so this was on a scale as I took them out of the pan, weighed it, put the cooked weight into the recipe, and now I can serve these cooked and know exactly how much I'm getting. But they were just a straight, dry stir fry. I didn't use any sauces or anything with it. I've got a great non-stick pan, so neither of these were done with oil because I did my chicken first. The pan already had some chicken fat in it. Even though I trimmed most of the fat off, fat still comes out of it. So I did those first. I didn't need to use oil in my non-stick pan for it. I did my veggies in the pan straight after, so it's still just the chicken fat. I did actually buy a packet udon noodle this time, and I've put it in here, but they break up really easy. So next time I might actually buy the dehydrated dried ones and cook them off myself. But anyway, there's my noodles. And then I made a sauce, and the sauce is here. And the sauce is, I'll just put this up now, my arm's getting tired. The sauce is just sweet chili sauce, soya sauce, ginger, garlic, stock, and then I simmered it down. And I put that in as a recipe in Cronometer as well. So I put the pre-cooked quantities in there, measured them out, put them in a pan, and then I just reduced it down. And when I put that into the bowl, I've just tared it off on the scale, put the sauce in, and then I put the cooked weight into the recipe. So if you're using something like Cronometer, it's got the great cooked weight function. So you create a recipe and you can go, okay, these are all my ingredients. This is what it weighs after I've cooked it. This is how many serves I roughly want it to be. So I put 8 serves because I roughly wanted this to be 8 serves, and the recipe I had was per kilo of chicken, and I did 2 kilos of chicken. So I doubled it, and then I've gone 8 serves. That's me and Dean right through to Thursday. But the best thing about that is, yes, I could do it in serves, but I can also do this in grams. So now what happens, I've got these 4 dishes, I literally pull them out and I serve my own. So I will only have maybe 100 grams of udon noodles, whereas Dean would have 150. So I just serve out my 100. Then I put my chicken on, then I put my veggies on, and my sauce to however. Now you have your scale on the bench, you literally put your bowl on, weigh, tear, whack it in the microwave, heat it up, stir it up, and there you go, you've got a stir fry. And my quantities are different to Dean's quantities. So not only am I prepped in advance, so I don't have to fucking think about it, and I don't have to do dishes, it's going to be tasty, and I get to do my macro tracking because I have actually been in a deficit for 2 weeks. I haven't really spoken about it as yet, which I'll get onto my stories later today and talk a little bit about that. But my quantities are definitely different to Dean's at the moment. Dinner times, we generally eat about the same amounts, roughly. So it's not usually too much of an issue. But because I've chosen to do a little bit of a deficit at the moment and just start dropping down the body fat that was created over when I couldn't train with my back, that now I'm feeling good. I made it back to my previous strength targets, that now I have created a deficit, that this is the way I'm doing it. But this is the way I do all my dinners anyway. You can literally serve an entire family like this, just bulk cook, it'll last. You know, even if you just do Monday to Friday, when you're at work, you're busy, everyone's got things to do, the last thing you want to be doing is coming home and going, what are we going to have for dinner? Do I have to stop at the shop and get anything? Now I've got to cook it. Now I've got to clean up from it. Then we all eat it. Then we do the dishes from that. Like, you lose a couple of hours in an afternoon doing that. This is just a huge time saver. So for me, tracking macros and knowing what I'm eating means I can also shop quantities and I don't get food waste. So, you know, economically, and financially, it's a really great move because I know exactly what I need to order and I don't waste any food. It's great. So I don't run to the shops in the middle of the week because I fucking hate going to the shops in the middle of the week. And it just means it's all there ready to go. It saves time. So even if you are not someone who's trying to lose body fat or build muscle, I still highly recommend food prepping because it just saves so much time in the evening. When you're mentally taxed from thinking about all the things you think about at work all day, all those decisions you've made, plus your own personal decisions and getting up in the morning and sorting everything, the mental fatigue around decision making is just huge. So if you just decide once the meals that you're having for the week, whether you're going to change your dinner every night or whether you're going to eat the same, it doesn't matter. Just sit down on a weekend, choose your meals, enter it in, and then you don't have to think about it again. I literally don't think about food during the week, and it's amazing. The weekends are a little bit different. We might go out for dinner, we might go out for breakfast with friends. If we don't, Friday and Saturday is Fish Friday because we bloody love it, and yay for fresh barramundi being back in season. And we just have it with air fryer chips and lemon and lots of salt and seasoning. Love it. Super, super simple. Takes 10 minutes to cook. And on Sunday, it might be something that I do want to cook, so I'll add something in when I'm doing prepping. I'll cook a meal. We might grab some leftovers from the freezer. It's just something that's really easy. Or if we've been out during the week, one of those Fish Fridays becomes, one of those fish that we have on Friday, Saturday actually becomes dinner on Sunday because we went out for dinner. So it becomes, the weekend is where you can kind of play around and you've got more time for cooking. Great, put your variety in then, but do some prep during the week. Even if, you know, your family isn't keen on eating the same thing every day, come to a compromise and go, right, well, I'm just going to double batch cook on Sunday because on Monday afternoon I want to train. So Sunday you have your dinner, you put the leftovers in the fridge, and Monday night you have the leftovers, and that way you can go and train in the afternoon. So, you know, you can do lots of things like that, but this way of bulk prepping and having separate proteins and vegetables and carbs and some sort of flavor profile is so easy to track, such a big time saver, and it doesn't have to be boring as fuck. I don't know why people think that it has to be boring. It doesn't. Just think about your protein and your carb source, and then add a flavor profile to it. So I've got a whole macro manipulation meal recipe book in my coaching container, where that's where this recipe has come from. So the sweet chili garlic sauce, it came from there, and I went, great, now I'll just have some chicken, veggies and noodles. I'll just cook them all separate, and away we go. If I wasn't in a deficit, I probably just would have cooked the whole stir fry thing all in one and just portioned it out and gone, there we go. Because Dean and I eat fairly close, and if he wants some extra protein, he just throws a protein shake in during the day. So it actually makes that a little bit easier. But this is a classic example of people eating different quantities and where it works. So I've done a deconstructed stir fry with a flavor profile from macro manipulation meals, and use that principle and literally put it all together, and it does not have to be boring. I can't wait to have this. This is going to be super tasty. I'm also going to throw I've got some spring onions in the fridge and some coriander. So I will probably throw spring onions and coriander over it after I've heated it. I like my coriander, like my herbs to be really fresh. So explore spices and herbs and things like that. Really great, tasty ways that you can elevate your meals without them being boring. This sauce I've decided to track because it is a lot of sweet chili sauce like that. So for that tub there, that was half a cup of sweet chili a cup of sweet chili sauce, half a cup of soy sauce, I don't know, 6 cloves of garlic, and a chunk of ginger. I think it was about 20 grams of ginger, and 100 mils of stock, and then I've simmered it down. But because of the sweet, if it was just things like soy and lime juice, I wouldn't even track that. I mean, really, we don't have to get that in the weeds. We're not going to stage on a bodybuilding competition. But because sweet chili sauce actually has a fair bit of sugars in it, that amount of carbohydrates does need to be tracked. So I have actually created a recipe for that. Now it just sits in my recipe folder until the next time I make it. It's super, super simple. One of the other little tricks that I actually did with this one is, rather than just normal stock, after I cooked my chicken off, I let it sit and rest. A lot more of the juices come out, which is essentially chicken stock. So I just used those juices from there, and it was 100 mils, and put it into my sauce for extra flavor and simmered it down. So you don't even have to use a different stock. You can use it from that. My veggies, I was going to use some from my veggies, but I didn't have any moisture come out of the veggies, so that's okay as well. But then it also retains all that nutrients and everything that you're putting in there. So that's essentially what I've done and what we're going to be eating this week. Really, really simple. We can keep it all separate, and we can track our own things. And I will not be inside my tracking app all day, every day next week, because I've set up one day, and that's going to be Monday to Friday. Yes, I eat foods on repeat like that. Like I said, you can change your dinners. Just set up 4 templates. Keep your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks the same, put them in, plug in your dinners, make sure it all balances, and then you don't have to think about it. Again, planning in advance is the way to track with some sort of prep, because even if you're doing a different meal every night, you can still do some prep. You can peel potatoes and put them in water and having them sitting there. You can have rice pre-cooked and sitting in the fridge ready to go. You can peel and chop veggies and have them ready to go. You can have proteins marinating ready for you to actually cook on the night that you're going to use it. So you can actually get some prep done, or maybe you need to just prep a batch of lunches and breakfast, so you don't have to think about it, and then you just cook from scratch at dinner. Do what works with your lifestyle, but at the same time, if you actually want to have that toned, athletic, fit-looking body, more muscle, less body fat, and make your training worthwhile, you have to start living in a different way. And it doesn't mean that it's restrictive, and it doesn't mean that it's boring, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't have flavor. It's just thinking outside the box on how you can do this. And this obsession about having to have something different every single day for every single meal is ridiculous, and it will be your undoing. And our bodies actually thrive on regulation. So no, you probably wouldn't want to eat the same meals week after week after week after week, because that's not great for your body. But eating something regularly for a week and then swapping out what you're doing the next week and just setting up a new template for different flavors makes things so much easier for you. Your body likes the regulation. You're not going to see the scale do this as much. You will find that the scale will fluctuate more with different foods. So you'll understand where you're at, and you'll be able to make the appropriate changes to continue towards your goal when you don't have this dysregulation, when you're not constantly in your app going, oh my God, what am I meant to eat? Those sorts of things. You know exactly what to shop for. I sit down on a Saturday morning. I know I can, down to the bottle of orange juice that I need, because if you know how much that you're having 200 meals twice a day, there's 400, there's 2 of you, there's 800 meals times 7 for 7 days. Fuck me, I know exactly how much orange juice to buy, rather than guessing my way through or thinking you've bought enough and then you know you're drinking more. You decide to drink more during the week because it fit your macros. Well, you're going to end up with either wastage or running out of food. So there's so many positives to actually doing some meal prep and understanding what you're eating, not just the body composition. But yes, if that's where you're going and you want to change your body composition and you want more muscle and you want to be leaner, then living in a way that people with lean muscular bodies do is the way that you're going to get there. You're not going to get there by continuing to do your own thing and not doing what. And I mean, you look at all the people that are healthy and regulated. I'm not talking about people who, you know, there's plenty of lean people out there, but then they're full of perimenopause symptoms, hormone problems, gut issues, endometriosis, you name it. They've got all these health issues going on. Most of those actually come back to nutrition regulation, whether it's getting enough nutrition types of nutrients into you that you might be lacking, whether your blood sugar balance isn't really good, whether you're not fueling your training properly, all those sorts of things. So if you actually want, sorry, I've got a fly here. If you actually want a thriving body that has more muscle and less body fat, that makes you feel fucking hot in midlife, because you're allowed to want to feel sexy, you're allowed to want to look good, just do it in a way that you are as nourished as fuck as well, because all of this food here is going to nourish me and fuel me, and I feel amazing. I have great energy. I've got fuck all perimenopause symptoms. I'm building muscle. I'm now actually losing body fat because I've chosen to do a deficit, all without stripping back my food and living on fucking tuna and salad. This is just such a great way of living. So if you want to know more about it, DM me. Always open to a conversation in the DMs. I have a couple of places on my roster at the moment. In the next couple of months, things are going to be changing, and working as closely with me in a direct one-to-one way will be changing. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be able to reach more people. But in the meantime, if you want one-to-one coaching, I do have a couple of places left before I close that off. So just reach out, send me a message. And this can be your midlife where you actually get to be as hot as fuck as well as nourished, and you're allowed to want that. Bye.